If you're watching this video, you're afraid of the past, you're afraid of the future, something's bothering you and you just don't want to let it go. You're watching this video because you want actual change in your life and you want it to happen now and you're tired of it. Even if you don't want it to happen now, you definitely are sick and tired of feeling these things. Whether it be a past relationship, whether it be what happened in childhood, something's affecting you that happened before, it's affecting you now, and it's making you worry about the future. So what's really going on here? You have a thought. This thought is a belief. That belief was created because of what happened in the past. What happened in the past was so hurtful and so traumatic to you, no matter how big or small it might perceive to other people, to you, it was extremely significant and you held it inside of you. This means that it's a trauma response. Trauma, sometimes people view as something extreme. It can be as subtle as someone rejecting you. Doesn't matter what it is, you stored it inside of you and you can't forget it. You forget it and then it bleeds into your subconscious and it affects your daily lives. What I mean by not forgetting is that it actually still affects you. You just might not realize it. You might remember it a couple weeks, you might remember for a couple months, but eventually you forget about it and then it affects your actions. Well, how do you get over it? Well, this is what I'm saying is that you can get over these things. You can feel better on a daily basis. It is possible. This is how. What changed my life was understanding something that might seem completely irrelevant, but stick with me. It's time. It's understanding the structure of what linear time is. Just understand that it's really important to grasp the idea that time isn't real. It is real, definitely is real, but it's not real. The exact moment you're in right now, this feeling of pain that you feel is the present moment. Let's stick with that. This moment you have right now that you're feeling is the present moment. This present moment was affected by the past. That's real. In this present moment, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I hope it doesn't happen to me again. That's thinking of the future. That's a linear structure that we have going on here. That is what we were believed from the day we were born, that time is a cycle of linear motions. It happens in a circle and it spins and it goes in a linear fashion. That's what we're dealing with here. Today, you're feeling this pain because of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, you felt that pain because someone else treated you a certain way based on what happened to them yesterday. That's linear. Now, what happens when you think in a linear fashion is that you start to think that because it happened this day, it's gonna happen again this day because it was so painful that it caused a traumatic belief to install inside of you, kind of like just a hard drive. You plug it in, you believe these things, you start remembering these memories, and then they affect your actions without you realizing. The shift happened for me was when I realized that this linear structure is just a created belief system. When you always hear people say, oh, time isn't real, man. Like, it's all just an illusion. Like, yeah, but no. Because, yeah, it is a belief system that was created. The ancients used to just look at the sun and the equinoxes, and they used to use that as their structure of time, not the monthly calendar or the clock system. And it is real because we all live in it. You can't deny the reality of what we're living in right now. We live in this linear time structure. In the past, everything was a present experience. Everything was the moment of the now. Right now, what I'm feeling can change if I want it to. The reason why that's true is because when you do start to heal, you start to say to yourself, why didn't I feel that way from the beginning? Like, why is it that I decide to stick with these things? That's just your subconscious at play. That's your trauma response. That's your fight or flight. That's your mind telling you, I don't want to feel pain anymore. So you hide it and then you start getting this trauma response. So what do you do about it? Well, to start, you have to look at it from the belief system, like I mentioned. And now it's the empowering part, which is understanding that you can change. And when I understood that time is not linear, there is no yesterday or tomorrow. It's a constant movement of the present moment. Things started to really shift for me. That was because by me understanding that time happens right now, constantly. It's just an exchange of energy at an infinite pace. That meant that I could instantaneously do something. I could immediately do something, and the past has no consequential action. The energy transfer from there to me, once that energy hits my thoughts, yes, it might affect my actions, it might affect the way I think. But once I have empowerment by knowing that, wait a second, just because this happened, this is the linearness of this happens, then this could happen, where my neck would jerk the other way. Now, when I'm in this present moment, I understand that, wait, I can stop myself. Anything that happens to me, it doesn't have to affect me. It just happens. It just moves. That's something that might not make sense as to how powerful this is, but this present moment is all you have ever. And it puts you in a state of, I can do anything I want. As long as I live in a moral compass and I don't harm other people, I can empower myself and I can feel better on a daily basis no matter what happens to me. It doesn't matter what occurred in the past. It will not affect my future. This changed my life. This changed my life. I used to hold on to a lot of fear of getting on video. I didn't want to get on video. I didn't want to put myself out there. And once I understood that my social anxiety was based around past beliefs that occurred to me, I started to really go crazy because I was telling myself, how could I change? Like, what do I do about this? It was weeks of me just being like, oh my God, these memories of the past that affected me, oh my God, they kept popping up and popping up and popping up. And all of a sudden I had such a severe anxiety because I'm like, oh my God, what do I do about this? I have these aspirations to help the world. I have these aspirations to create beautiful pieces of content for the world. And I can't do anything about it because I'm debilitated by what happened to me in the past. That sucks. That sucked. And I sat and I journaled and I sat and I journaled and I realized that the present moment right now is all I could ask for. Once I understood that right now in this moment, I have the power to shift my thoughts and that the past doesn't have to affect me, it allowed me to process that healing. It allowed me to process the trauma, those beliefs I mentioned that you were holding inside of you. It allowed me to let go and open up the floodgates. And I cried and I cried and I cried, but I started to heal. And I got over those traumatic incidents that happened to me. Afterwards, it was such an eye-opening moment because I was able to look around and say, wait a second, I'm not really worried about what people think about me anymore. Yeah, there are some subtleties because I still have some work to do, but for the most part, I just don't give a fuck. I just don't fucking care. And it's beautiful because the linear structure of time made me think that something happened and something is happening and it'll probably happen again because it happened already. Right now is all you have. Like all the incidents of social rejection in the past, of being felt like I was very weird or that I was unaccepted by people. Right now in this present moment, that's not happening to me. No one's here talking to me. I'm only putting myself out there because I know this will help others. And I'm comfortable doing it now because I understand that right now in this moment, nothing's affecting me. So what happens when it does, and someone does say these things and they do bother you or these traumatic responses do occur to you? Well, it's understanding that it doesn't have to be. It's not happening to you. They're simply occurring. Linear time structure makes you believe that what is going on is happening. It's happening, which means that's random and it's happening to you. It's happening to you. But by understanding that the present moment is an endless cycle of energy in the present moment, what happens is a reaction of another thing, which is a reaction of another thing, and it's simply occurring. It's occurring in front of you, and you can do something about it. There's no randomness. Somebody is affecting you in a negative way, causing a potential trauma response because that person is unhealed themselves. That person that hurt you was unconscious of the fact that it could be hurting you. But it doesn't mean that you do your best to not harm others when you're aware of these things and you've healed. You can eventually sense these things with other people and you don't have to live a life of unconscious hurting. Because this person harmed you in some way, some shape, some form, they're unhealed, which means that they're going to keep affecting others that are unhealed until they're healed themselves and they can stop affecting other people. So having compassion for others and understanding like, wait a second, this is occurring right now to me because this person isn't healed. This person has trauma that they didn't process, they didn't do the work over, and they're just feeling in this constant state of pain and they're lashing it out on me. What can I do about that? Nothing. I'm not going to allow it to affect me because I know it's not real. I know that this person simply has a belief system that is causing them to do this. And I did nothing to make them think that way. It's just a belief system. The point of all this is just to understand that you can change right now if you understand that energy is simply transferring onto you and you don't have to accept that energy anymore. You can create the change within yourself and you will feel better on a daily basis once you do it, by understanding that right now is the best time to change. When people talk about quantum leaping, or they talk about law of attraction, or any type of empowering action of change, what's really happening here is they're saying, look, you can do whatever you want in this world. It's just a matter of you having the empowered feelings to take action on it. And linear time structures that tell you past, present, future is holding you back. Understanding that right now in this exact moment, you can do whatever your heart desires, and that whatever happens to you is simply occurring because of what happened to other people. You can then step into a place of mind of, wow, this person is so hurt. They're so hurt that they're willing to try and hurt me. They unconsciously hurt me. More importantly, what I perceive as hurt isn't even real either. But my perception of what hurts me can be changed as well. They are so unhealed. I am so unhealed. Why is my response to what this person is happening so aggressive? Why am I so upset over what this person is doing to me? Eventually, you start to realize that the pain that you feel, you can actually disassociate, take out the association of what pain is. And you can look at things from a subjective standpoint of it is occurring. And then in that place of mind, everything's beautiful because everything in this exact moment is a beautiful occurrence of the now. And then that's when the feel-good feelings happen. That's when the lightness happens. That's when you start to take action consciously on what you truly want on a deep soul level. Is when you realize that you can change right now. You can do these actions to heal. You can do these actions to self-empower yourself. And whatever anybody says or does to you can affect you. I need to look at life in a way of, oh, this person has a timing, because everything's occurring, has a timing of listening, just like I do. I have a timing. Right now, at this present moment of when I'm saying this information, it's at a time of my life when the present moment is saying, okay, here we go. Let's go. Boom. How's that happen? Through healing. The main thing to understand is that time is not linear. It's a present moment. And by understanding the present moment of the now, you can begin to heal your traumas of the past. By healing your traumas of the past, you'll start to feel better. And once you start feeling better, you start seeing life in a completely different light. Things shift dramatically for you. And what I mean by that, sometimes people don't really describe this accurately. It's that your experience through your visual eyes, when you look around and the thoughts that occur in your head are lighter, they're completely different, as though you shifted perspectives, like looking through different types of holes. And it means that you're able to be empowered within the present moment, meaning that you have more heart energy flowing through you to take conscious action. Take action on things that you would take actions on, not actions that something in the past affects you from doing. If that makes sense. So this is part one. I'm gonna break this down a lot easier and a lot simpler in a part 2 video. But for right now, I wanted to get this out there and get the ball rolling on my channel, get the ball rolling on my future, and really make changes in people's lives and my own. So I hope this video helped. I hope it made sense. Just a side note, I do have some type of perfectionism when it comes to these things. So I was here for an hour and a half trying to put this video out. And I decided just to go with my gut and just talk. So I hope that it made somewhat sense. I did my best. And I'll see you in the next one where things will get a little more concrete, a little simpler. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.